what we're going to do. If you go to Google Classroom, everything for this week is right here in the podcast unit serial. Go to episode 1, and everything is right here, okay? So for today and for Wednesday, you're going to listen to episode 1. Now, there's a lot of stuff here. These 2 things, optional, you don't need them, okay? The only thing you really need is the exercise, serial, season 1, episode 1, unit 1, serial episode, the alibi. Okay, so if you click on the alibi, it's going to take you to this YouTube page. Okay, so you're going to listen to episode 1, and with that, episode 1 is 54 minutes long. So I'm going to talk about, or 53 minutes long. I'm going to talk about the length of it in a second here. But what you're going to do with this, you're going to listen to the episode, and while you listen to it, you really have 2 tasks, okay? The first thing is, this is Adnan Syed. He's the guy, sorry you can't really see him, but he's the guy convicted of this murder, and he's still in jail today. This is a mystery. I mean, the reason why this podcast blew up is because there really are conflicting sides, okay? So the biggest thing that I want you to do is you listen to this case for yourself. As you listen to episode 1, you are a private investigator now, okay? Like Sarah Koenig, the journalist who's interviewing everyone and bringing all of these things together, she's handing you everything in this case on a silver platter. She's giving it to you. Your task, though, for episode 1, it's really important to make sure you understand the case, okay? Like there's quite a few names. There's 6 names that are going to be brought up. Adnan is the guy who's convicted. Heyman Lee was the girl who was murdered, okay? But there's so many names brought up. So what I really want to stress to you in this first episode is get your bearings, okay? Kind of listen to the story as we go and try to get the basis of the case down. I mean, that doesn't mean you have to have it perfect, right? But it can be confusing, right? It's just like a book or a movie. If you miss something, it could maybe be a major part. So you're going to listen to episode 1 here, and what I want you to do is you listen to this. We are building skills in this podcast unit a little bit differently than we would with a book, okay? We're going to really be, like I said, analyzing characters, analyzing what people have to say, analyzing if we think it's truthful or not. You are going to be utilizing so much critical thinking in this podcast. You're going to be looking at characters and thinking, okay, what is their point of view? What is their purpose? In other words, what are they trying to accomplish in this interview? What are they trying to accomplish when they said this, when they did that? And then you're looking at the background and the context. Who are they connected to? What would maybe be their motive? You're looking at all sorts of things, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want to kind of, start thinking about the bigger picture as you listen to episode 1. So episode 1 is here, okay? What you're going to do with it then, the only thing you actually have to turn in for today, it's not actually due until Friday, but I'm going to get to that in a minute, is this character chart, okay? So character, purpose, and point of view. So all you're doing with this episode here today is this is a character chart. I've laid out for you really the only names you need to know, these 6 here. Jay, he's going to be testifying against Adnan. He's one of the only people who can say, oh, I know where Adnan was that afternoon. Adnan's our main character. Rabia is his lawyer. Syed is Rabia's brother, okay? Sarah is our narrator. Asia is someone else who claims Adnan was somewhere else that afternoon, okay? So your task after you listen to episode 1, you're thinking about each of these people. I'm going to refer to them as characters because it's easier, but you're thinking about each of these people's purpose and point of view, okay? In other words, when you hear from them in episode 1, when you hear from them, and maybe a police interview with Jay, or maybe Rabia, her sharing details with Sarah, when you hear from them, what do you think they're trying to accomplish? Right? And that's a lot different than a summary. So I'm not asking you to say, Adnan, he's 17 years old, he's convicted of murder, he's like a golden child, he's really great. I'm not asking for a summary. Instead, I want you to write, what do you think they're trying to accomplish? So for Adnan, he's trying to accomplish that he's innocent. He's trying to prove he had no motive. He had nothing against Heyman Lee. Like, you're looking at what are they trying to accomplish? From what they're saying, what are they trying to prove? Okay. So I've gone over this worksheet and I kind of went over the Serial podcast. I showed you that. Just a second here. What questions do you guys have so far with what I've talked about so far here? Any questions from you guys? I get like the sad face, like, no, just come on, get it over with. Okay, so here, I'll keep going here. So this is all you have then for today. I'll talk about this in a second here. Listen to episode 1 and then that character chart, okay? Now, as you notice, episode 1 is like 53 minutes long. Here's my advice for you. You have until Friday to listen to the entirety of episode 1, okay? Chunk it up. Listen to 15 minutes before you go to bed. Listen to a little bit when you go on a walk, when you're in the shower. Color, clean your room, do something productive while you listen to this. One of the cool parts and one of the reasons why I went with a podcast is because we have been glued to our screens, and I know this is still on a screen, but our eyes have been physically glued to a screen for the past few weeks. So utilize this opportunity, go do things, still pay attention to it, but go do things if you want while you listen to this. With that being said, the only other 2 things I'll talk about here on Google Classroom, if you're the type of person where you like to follow along, I have included a transcript. This is optional, okay? But if you want to kind of read along, you can go back to this if you want to kind of check something out. That's there. The last thing that's totally optional, again, I've talked about how this can be confusing. And I'm not like trying to psych you out. You guys will do absolutely fine with it. But if you're, there's a lot of details in this. It's a murder case. If you want to check your understanding, I have posted some questions here. It's a lot. I would never assign this. But if you want to check your understanding, you can go through and just look at some of the questions, some of the main questions. I highlighted some parts that are more important. Like, hopefully you understand Heyman Lee, what happened to her. She was murdered, right? Like, hopefully after listening to episode 1, you kind of get that stuff. But this will help you out if you want that, okay? So with that being said, as far as homework goes, you have until Friday to listen to episode 1 and to finish this worksheet. But I want to say on Wednesday, I'm going to give you a different writing assignment with it, okay? So like, you have until Friday to do this stuff, and Wednesday's writing assignment is going to be super long or lengthy, but it's like another tier up. Like, we're looking more at who do you think is lying on Wednesday. So you have plenty of time to do this, okay? Stretch out that episode if you need to. Don't cram it in if that feels uncomfortable or forced. But Wednesday, you're going to get something else with it, right? Not super time consuming, but it goes with episode 1 as well. So yeah, I'll take another second here. Do you guys have any other questions before I just talk about like 2 more things? Okay, so the last thing I want to say is that this episode, I found the clean version, okay? But there still is swearing in it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. But there's still swearing in this episode. And one thing I just want to cover is that this episode talks about things that do not reflect our Catholic values, right? Like our school's Catholic values. It talks about relationships, intimacy in relationships. It talks about drinking, drug use, and obviously there's a violent murder. So one thing I just want to emphasize to you all is, I remember, sometimes when I listen to stuff, it's easy for me to get caught up in it and think like that's a representation for everyone. But this episode, this series is not a representation of everyone's experience in high school, okay? Clearly, hopefully, because this has a murder in it. But there's a lot of dark and just, a lot of things in this episode that I want to just reiterate does not reflect everyone's high school experience. And I hope that you don't feel pressured by this. please don't at all. And yeah, we're listening to the clean version, but I think there are still a few swear words that slipped in there. And there's a few situations that are kind of hard to listen to when you listen to a police interview from a witness. So just kind of saying that, and just if you're uncomfortable, please let me know. And the last thing I want to say is we're really focusing on building our skills in this. Okay. At the end, I'm hoping we can write an argumentative paper. Um, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like because we're still hearing updates on our school schedule here for online school. So we're going to do our best with this unit. We might not finish all of the episodes, but I'm hoping we get through at least a good chunk of them. But yeah, this is, we're going to be critically thinking. We're going to be analyzing these characters. So I invite you, poke holes in these characters, like what they're saying. Really think outside the box. Do you believe them? Does it make sense what they're saying? Okay, this is all true. Unfortunately, all of it is true. You're going to be making logical inferences. You're going to have to summarize key details and events. See, anything else I want to say? Yeah, in this first chart, you're looking at their purpose and point of view. So that is Serial. I'm excited. I hope you'll like it. I think it's something nice. It's different than a book. But with that being said, like, don't feel like you have to listen to 53 minutes in one day unless you want to, okay? So anything else from you guys? Any other questions?
I just have a question on the Corona Chronicle. Is that due today?
No, I need to go change the due date. Thank you, Caitlin. One thing with that though, since Caitlin brought it up, thank you so much. I think I would rather, one thing I'm toying with is I think we're gonna do something with that at the end here. Like maybe that's like our final. We're not gonna have a final. You're gonna write some sort of argumentative paper or paragraph about Serial. So we're gonna be working on argumentative skills, but I'm not sure what our end is going to be with the Corona Chronicle. I like to think we'll do something to kind of wrap that up, but if you think that was, I'm going to get some feedback from you guys as well, though, to see what you think about that. So not due tomorrow. Anything else? Great question. Okay, so that took me like almost 25 minutes. What do you guys think? Any good news to share? Any check-ins? Does anyone want to share what they're doing in the office today? Mateo, you have suspenders on. I just snap them, like anything from you guys. All right, I do this every time I like force you to be social, and it's just yeah, what?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's nothing I'm doing, but like, it's like my aunt who had corona, and like she tested negative now, so that's good.
Oh, Mateo! So is she feeling 100% again?
Yeah, almost 100%.
Good. Oh my gosh. Good. I'm so happy for you guys. And is she in Italy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely, if anyone wants to share, like, what have you done? Has this been hard for you guys is this a pretty like somber time? Or you guys what are you doing to find the happiness in this? I know, I'm just taco, but does anyone have anything helpful they've been doing, like, or if anyone want to throw out, this is classic, anyone throw out like a TV show they've been watching that's brought them like laughter, something to laugh at, to giggle at?
My mom and I have been watching a bunch of shows together. We're watching this one called Miss America, and it's about like why the Equal Rights Amendment didn't get passed. It's on Hulu.
Oh,
it doesn't make me laugh, but it's it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Miss America. That sounds good. Okay, give me two more and I'll let you go. Someone else. Oh, this is forced.
If anyone hasn't watched the show You on Netflix, watch it because it's so good. I love it. So, yeah.
Has anyone else watched it? I'll say this, Molly. I love you. You know, and I think something different too. Watch that show because you guys are the generation where I always wonder, this always pops up. Like people share their location with each other. Like my friends and I, when we were in college, we'd share a location, my girlfriends, like roommates. But like I remember when I was in college, like people in relationships would share their location. And it was always a question of like, is that a good thing? Is that too far? And like I think that show has so many things where it's like, where's the red flag? That's a good show. Watch You. That's a good one. Anyone else? Let's get one more.
It doesn't really like make me laugh, but it's like kind of interesting. It's World War II in color. It's
I love it. Where is that, Mateo?
wait, it's on Netflix.
No, really?
Mhm.
Wow, I didn't know it was. Okay. What have I have been watching, I'll say this, it's not on Netflix, it's on ESPN. The Michael Jordan series, The Last Dance. And I say that because I'm not even like obviously I wasn't watching basketball in the 90s when he was playing. None of you were either. But it's really fun to watch good documentaries. So that's what I've been doing. I'll say your names here. Once I say your name, you can jump off. And I got you for it looks like I'm pretty sure I have everyone. Yeah, you guys can jump off whenever. I've been adding your names up. I think I've got 24. So take care. Thank you, formal people, and I'll send out a link to vote.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Miss
Thank you.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.